But first, it might be straight out of the old game show, The Price is Right, but it could actually work. Today, the Prime Minister opened another of our gates to the world by encouraging foreign students and backpackers to come on down. The government will scrap the $630 visa application fee in a bid to alleviate workforce shortages and restore supply chains.
And my message to them is, come on down. Come on down now, because you wanted to come to Australia, you've got your visa, we want you to come to Australia and enjoy a holiday here in Australia, move all the way around the country, and at the same time join our workforce and help us in our agricultural sector and our hospitality sector and so many of the other parts of the economy that rely on that labour, that workforce right now. And we'll be supporting that with a $3 million that we'll be giving to Tourism Australia to support a marketing program to target backpackers and students to get them out.
Now, Australia has already got 23,500 backpackers and 150,000 students who've applied to come on down. They don't need an enticement, but they'll get a fee-free ride anyway. What today's announcement has the potential to do, though, according to some that I've spoken to this afternoon in the hospitality industry, is triple our usual intake. Now, that will go a hell of a long way to filling various gaps on the land and in hospitality, and there are plenty. That's a plus for the government, for the economy. But what still lingers, though, is a nationwide frustration over the access to rapid antigen test kits and workplace shortages because of large COVID numbers at the moment and isolation. It was something Scott Morrison addressed today as soon as he walked to the podium.
I just want to start by being very upfront with Australians that I can assure you that I and all the members of my government, and have no doubt all the premiers and chief ministers, understand just how frustrating this summer has been for Australians. The Omicron variant, which has been with us for some 7 weeks, has caused great disruption. That's not just true here in Australia, it's true all around the world. Go to Canada, go to the United States, go to Europe, go to the UK, you're seeing the same things. It's been incredibly frustrating.
He's dead right. And a lot of Australia blames him. While millions of RA tests are arriving at various Australian ports almost daily at the moment, the lag in getting these kits onto shelves is hurting the Morrison government as much as any issue they've faced during this pandemic. And I would also argue the tendency not to buy the program and make it free, I think, is really hurting him as well. If you can have PCR tests at, say, $80 to $85 a pop, free to Australia for years, why can't we do the same with rapid antigen tests? Anyway, should we have done more in the middle of last year to expedite the arrival of these self-administered tests? Absolutely, and that's obvious now. But that goes for state and territory governments as well, given that testing is primarily their domain. But to be fair, an RA testing regime was thrust upon us due to the frantic and unpredicted demand for PCR tests in the weeks before Christmas.
I understand that those rapid antigen test shortages have been a great frustration, but a lot of these comments are made with hindsight, not foresight.
You know, the next valve that I think needs to be released has to be the period of time fully vaccinated Australians need to isolate for after they catch COVID. At the moment, it's 5 days. And employers in particular are calling for a reassessment of that protocol to help get workers back early. But of course, this is a really delicate balance, reducing 5 to 4 or even 3. But the PM admits it is on the table.
All of these things are always under active consideration, and that has been for some time. The most recent information that we have is that post 5 days, you've still got 30% that are remaining infectious. And so that is a calibrated decision you've got to make.
Now, as the country dangles this financial carrot in front of more students and more backpackers, even the Queensland Premier is opening gates to international arrivals. From Saturday, fully vaccinated travellers from overseas will finally be able to arrive in the Sunshine State without having to go into quarantine. It's taken long enough, but at least it gives the battered tourism industry in Queensland some certainty now.
Now is the right time with our vaccination rates so high, 88.82. We want to give some certainty to the industry and certainty for people who are travelling.
Finally, after 2 years of crushing lockdowns, borders being repeatedly closed and having no international tourists in the state at all, it is the button Queensland tourism operators have been praying for. If only Anastasia Palaszczuk had taken the same confident approach with the beginning of the school year. To delay that by 2 weeks is crazy and unfair to those kids. Meanwhile, we lost 67 lives in Australia yesterday, as recorded this morning. And every life does matter. But that needs to be put into the context of the loss of life we record every single day in this country. You just have to look at last year's statistics. We lost 134 Australians every day last year to cancer. 43 people every day last year to dementia and Alzheimer's. And 38 people daily to heart disease. With a national double vaccination rate now at 93%, there is no going back. We need to quell the hysteria, especially the hysteria at the most local levels and with our families, and get on with living with this virus.